so reliant on the Nautilus to get into that fight. I mean, depth charge should never knock up anybody the entire game, right? That's the assumption that Tang Yuan is operating on.
And of course, having the Morgana in the mid lane rather than in support just gives you that extra level of access to gold.
Together, plus the Tempered Fate from Bard, there's just so many disengage options to keep this Sivir safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Potential gank right here. Junjia gonna come on in.
Oh, no. YCX goes through the magical journey and finds himself face-to-face with Junjia, who will happily pick up a freebie. Participate in said party. Hong is still level 5. Junjia in the same category. YCX kind of leading their charge forward here. Gets the electrocute proc on a Vampire. Gets the stun into the wall as well. Hong is in range. Does not win the smite fight. It goes the way of Junjia. But what about the follow-up fight? Damage still getting pumped into Vampire. He's at about half HP.
No.
Mega Inferno Bomb comes over the wall. Xiaoya going to be able to shield it, but he gets thrown back in by the satchel charge. Xiaoya's got to get back over to the magical journey to get himself out to safety. Getting access to the chains, not going to be too bad either, as they do start off work onto these grubs. Sasa getting pushed around by Xiaozhu a little bit here and will lose a fair amount of his health, but the grubs are starting to fall, and they are falling in the favor of LGD.
Yeah, nothing to be done about this one for JDG. The rotation from LGD bringing all of their members up to the top side of the map just allows Gala to have some alone time with this turret. Macro decisions of LGD against them.
Oh, Hongyu taking some turret shots there. I don't think it's going to make a difference, and he will have the execute to pick up first turret. Will be traded by LGD in pretty short order, though. That's the power of the Ziggs by LGD, looking to stop the stacking from JDG as soon as they can and keep Xiaoya safe in this fight. Here's the first test of how well these teams are going to interact in the team fights. YCX going to get caught out on the side, gets hooked on in, but Hong just going to take that as an opportunity to engage on a Vampire. Sasa basically one-shots him as Xiaoshu pulls Hong out to safety, but Tempered Fate connects on it too. Xiaoshu forced to jump back away. Sasa falling lower and lower, able to get away, but Junjia chomps down onto him, and somehow Xiaoya is cut off from the rest of the team and gets chomped down the very same. LGD lose 2 members in trade for Vampire.
And they're able to pick themselves up. The Dragon as well are LGD and maybe could get a pick onto Gala. Yep, that's just going to be the Dark Binding. Goodbye to him. And so that ends up actually being a 2-for-2 overall. They're going to be able to step up to save this tower, though. Tango decides yes.
Tang Yuan feeling safe here. Oh, the non-bow! As Satchel Charge pushes both members out of the way of the dredge line, but still, Hongq's got the damage to finish off Tang Yuan. He's going to get traded on as the turret shots find their mark. YCX gets that kill credit thanks to his contribution from the meat.
Over the wall. Okay, we're not going to watch the end of that, but going over the wall there, it resulted in a 1-for-1, so obviously it wasn't bad in the end. This could be bad.
What a combo there from Hongq. YCX able to get himself out of danger in time, but the Mega Inferno Bomb just dodged away from by YCX, but he gets hit by one more bouncing bomb. Too many threats to deal with at once for YCX, and he will drop down. But it's LGD who are going to be the ones to start up on it first. Hongq actually making his way down towards the bottom, so it will be a 4v4 over the objective, or so we believe. Sasa getting some combat started with Hongq there, as it looks like much the same happening up on the top side, but Hongq at risk of getting solo killed. Sasa takes him down. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald falls the way of LGD. Tang Yuan and Xiaoya have their fight line set up, but look at that damage coming through onto Hong. He's going to fall down in an instant, and YCX is going to have to bail out with the magical journey. Sasa's solo kill, though, makes this an LGD favored play all day long, baby.
Absolutely. The fact that they're able to just about limp away is going to be massive. You can't be doing that with that ulti, right? This ulti is the big point of the fight, the big point of this composition, and to miss it there,
Yeah, the Dragon going to get worked on here by Hong. They will be able to finish it on off. Just barely manages to stay alive for now, but needs to avoid the last couple shots. Does do so, but JDG, they've bought the time, and Gala about to pick up a solo inner turret. This is a fat chunk of gold.
It really is. Getting a huge injection right there. He's going to be well on the way, if not fully completing that second item on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gold into Gala. The thing is, it is onto Gala, who is in a bit of a tough-to-play game, right? He's the low-range Kaisa. X taking a little bit of poke damage from Hongq earlier. Reminder that Hongq is without flash. Hong and Sasa, if they can get onto him, could really blow him up. YCX is the only one who's taken damage really so far, though. Redemption to try to top himself back off as Xiaoshu coming in on the flank will get spotted by Xiaoya. Xiaoya caught by the entire team, cut off from the rest of everybody else. Junjia going to get worked on, but he pops the subjugate and will be able to stay alive. First member down is the Sivir. Xiaoya already out of here. They try to chain CC onto Gala. They will be able to finish him off, but Junjia able to get a second kill for for his efforts. Sasa in a 1-versus-3 over inside the Otacon pit, and that is not a fight that he's going to win, but Tang Yuan is still showing up and representing as he manages to execute the opposing team's jungler. Sasa trying to keep the fight going, will finally be cut down by Xiaoshu, and now it is up to Hong and Tang Yuan to try to win this 2-versus-3, or at the very least stop the Otacon from going down. Xiaoshu will find one. Xiaoshu goes in onto both. Tang Yuan going to be able to immune it with the black shield, keeping Xiaoshu perhaps further up than he'd like to be. Hong Q continuing to rain through bombs, and everybody just says we don't want any more of this and tries to back on away.
And that has taken so long that Xiaoya and YCX are going to respawn and head back out onto the map once again. Same thing for the JDG members that had fallen down, but it should at least be this Drake going over to LGD. It's messy, it's bloody, it's a bit of a weird one, but in the end, LGD, they actually come out with the objective. Still, both of these teams potentially just gonna go for round 2. Most of the ultis have come back up and available, so this one should be another big brawl right here. No flank here for Sasa, though. This is a straight-up fight.
Yeah, he's just walking his way through Xiaoshu, and Xiaoshu is making him feel it, but they do manage to connect a binding on a Vampire, and that means Vampire is done for. Smite fight over the Otacon. Up next, an early smite from Junja gives it right over to Hong, and LGD are now rocking the Otacon. Big redemption across all 5 members. It's Xiaoshu up in the front line, getting worked on. Big counter-strike across 3, locks down Gala and Hong Q, but the turnaround damage onto Sasa is too much, and Xiaoshu is somehow staying alive in a 1-versus-3. Now he moves forward onto Hong, and the rest of LGD have got to try to cut their losses and get the hell out of here. But Hong Q has finished another member in the form of Hong, and Xiaoya and YCX are the last ones standing. Baron, who's at half HP, JDG trying to secure it for themselves. YCX is the only one here. Here come the reinforcements, but the Baron's falling lower and lower. 2K, 1K, smited down by Junja, and JDG get the Baron buff. Now Xiaoshu looking for the engage on the opposite side, but a last whisper has been picked up for Xiaoya. Back through the magical journey to get himself back with the rest of the team.
JDG, they're going to be moving on to this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. You've at least got Sasa pushing bot lane, so you've not got multiple lanes coming through. JDD, they won't be able to push fully forwards and grab themselves this tower, but they're just going to keep the pressure up and high.
Another binding.
Wait.
Now they're going to full send it on to Xiaoshu. They think they can finish him off. He falls down to about a quarter HP, and now he's basically out of the fight, but Hong going to be in the same category. Sasa TP's in, and these boomerang blades are being felt as they bounced over to Vampire and were able to take him to the ground. Xiaoshu now in the all-out form, going to get bound once again, lands a big and Tofo strike through 3, but Hong will be able to finish him off. 2 members picked off, Gala on a sliver.
Decide to keep pushing on forwards, and it wasn't small item breakpoints that they had on that reset. You have got that full death cap now completed onto Hong Q that he didn't have previously.
Oh!
Tang Yuan's just dead. Tang Yuan is very dead. Not exactly the place he wanted to be in. That's at least something back for JDG. Still,
how much untargetability can be obtained there? You got the Tempered Fate to help you out. Xiaoya going to be forced on back here, trying to kite this one out. Xiaoshu going to be once again taking the brunt of the damage, and they're just going to choose to full send it onto him. Tempered Fate lands on a 2. Xiaoshu left out all alone for quite a bit of time, and Sasa throws himself in. He thinks he can finish off Gala, but he's taking too much damage on the opposite side, has to go into the stasis, and Xiaoya was knocked back into the team. It's Hong Q with the satchel charge, once again being the difference maker. Picks off Xiaoya, and the rest of LGD will crumble around him. JDG with 4.
They're going to punch their ticket right here into the finals. There's so very little that LGD can do. YCX going on his own little magical journey just to buy a little bit of extra time, but it will not matter in the end. The push is happening straight on through the mid lane. They don't need minion waves. They've got themselves a Ziggs, and it's one last desperate play out of LGD that's going to spell their doom.
10 seconds on Xiaoya, but it's just going to fall too fast. Trundle plus Ziggs doing what you pick them to do. The Nexus is exposed. Xiaoya is too little and too late. JDG will clean sweep this series and get themselves a date in finals with IG tomorrow.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.